What is going on, guys? We are back with another Madden 17 video on Fantasy Draft Franchise. We are the Broncos going against the Indianapolis Colts, and as you can see, we actually took Bills Mafia's suggestion in the comment section by putting Braxton Miller at quarterback. Someone else said it as well, but sorry, Bills Mafia was the guy that brought it up first. And we also did bring in Brashad Perriman. Someone else mentioned him, but we did grab him on our own terms. But thank you guys for the suggestions anyways, as you know, so far technically we have two players playing on the team or in different positions than they normally would have. And as you can see, the Colts roster isn't looking too great. They have some injuries as well, and really our biggest injury is Xavier Rhodes, as we really have a rough cornerback core, and Xavier Rhodes definitely is a big upgrade from what we have. And of course, they actually have Mark Barron, who I believe we drafted as a linebacker and put him on at a strong safety, and as you of course can see, it's going to be a big one. The Colts and Broncos are always an intriguing matchup. And of course, you can see it. We do have the Color Rush uniforms, and I really think both teams look very great. The helmet I used, probably shouldn't have used it, but it is what it is. And coming out first here is the Colts offense, trying to run against that great blitz of the Broncos. And Matt Forte goes down the field very nicely, as he's always really reliable no matter what team he's on. And that one team usually is the Bears, but of course, there he's getting another carry. So, you know, early on, the Colts trying to feed him, and here comes the play action, something you develop through the run, and that's a great gain over the middle to Kamar Aiken. And, you know, Mariota, he's doing pretty decently. I know he's only had one throw, but he's delivering. And, of course, you could see Matt Forte is the headliner for the team. They do have Emmanuel Sanders, but so far, Matt Forte is the big name. And on second and 3, Matt Forte does go up the middle for an easy touchdown. So, Braxton Miller playing quarterback for us. It's an interesting move. And early on, you try the read option, and Braxton Miller goes backwards for 8 yards. Here, the Broncos actually going for a throw, and Braxton Miller is going to get hit right as he's throwing. Luckily, that pinball ball does not get intercepted, as it was deflected several times. And of course, 3rd and 18. Can Braxton Miller deliver? It's going to be a screen pass, a very smart throw and play for the Broncos here. And Derrick Henry's got room. He gets 2 truck/jukes. That's a huge gain, and he gets a back juke. So that's going to be a huge gain on 3rd and 18, which is a great start for Braxton Miller. And on 1st and 10, they're going back to the ground game, and David Johnson picking up where he left off last week with an early 11-yard gain. 1st and 10, though, a great back shoulder fade to Julio Jones, the main man on campus. And, of course, he did have Player of the Week last week, so that's a huge start for him. And another huge start is David Johnson gets another first down run. So on 1st and 10, corner fade to Kevin White, and that is well overthrown by Braxton Miller. 2nd and 10 in the red zone, and that's going to be a touchdown to Julio Jones. Once again, like I said, he had Player of the Week last week. He had a very solid game and coming out here pretty strong. So here on 1st and 10, coming out strong. Speaking of, is Matt Forte, who's got jukes for days, and he's running on the sideline again. He's probably almost over 100, and he's up to 76 yards already, and it's only the first quarter. 3rd and 6, though. It's a long conversion, and Can Chancellor coming up huge there on the hook zone. And, of course, the Colts are in decent field goal range, so they are going to attempt this long one, and they miss it barely. It's a great attempt there. But, of course, Colts leg man does not have the leg man. 1st and 10 for the Broncos. Only 57 yards away this time, and Tyler Eifert with a great play down the field, just beating their cornerback. And that is an easy long play. And on 3rd and 9, they're going to go back to the screen pass, and Derrick Henry is going to end up walking into the end zone here, as he's actually come on really strong this week. Didn't see as much as we wanted to from him last week, but of course, he's had a pretty strong performance thus far this game. And of course, on 2nd and 2, the Colts have the ball. They're going to throw it, and it's going to be intercepted by Shazier, as the Broncos were having some troubles, but now they look to be in the driver's seat. And if they can get a touchdown score here, that's going to change a lot of things. And that is a throw. It's a dot for days, as Devin Funchess just easily walks in the end zone, as that was a perfect throw. Literally no better throw I've seen so far this season from any quarterback, and Mariota delivers a nice throw of his own. But after that first down, struggling twice, 3rd and 11. Got plenty of time, but just nowhere to throw it. So Bruce Irvin comes up with his first sack of the game. And, of course, they are forced to punt. And 77 yards away, this is going to be a screen play, as the screen game has worked very well. And, of course, 1st and 10, David Johnson just barely misses it. And here the Broncos do not want to give up the ball. So on 4th and 1, they are going to throw it. It's a late throw from Braxton Miller. It's going to be intercepted by Brian Cushing. He's got room to the left side. Braxton Miller tries to catch him. Gets juked. Another juke. And Brian Cushing goes in for the touchdown. What an effort right before halftime by that Colts defense and Brian Cushing to not only get the pick, but go the distance with many effort jukes. That is a really great individual effort by him. And on 2nd and 13, there's a huge hit for Braxton Miller, he's really been 50-50 here. He's had a pretty solid game, but he's also had a couple of big mistakes. And, of course, on 3rd and 10, Braxton Miller's going to roll out, which is something he can do very well. And here he does the smart thing, which is throw it away. So that's a great decision by him. And, of course, that would end the half. Both teams playing pretty similarly, and the scoreboard is very similar as well. Even though if the Broncos were a little smarter with the ball before half, they could be up by 2 touchdowns. But is that going to matter when Braxton Miller delivers a throw like that? Kevin White does need to make the play on it, and he does. And, of course, right there, David Johnson got absolutely destroyed. 2nd and 8, Braxton Miller rolling to the right. He's got plenty of time. He finds Julio Jones running down the sideline. That's going to be an easy score. Celebrating as Julio Jones for his 2nd touchdown of the game and 5th already on the season. Only through 2 games on the season is Julio Jones, and he is absolutely wrecking it up. And speaking of a guy that can wreck it up, Matt Forte is over 115 yards, having a very solid game, even though he's on the older side. And on 3rd and 6, a clutch throw by Mariota to Austin Seferian-Jenkins. And on 3rd and 2, this is a huge play to get off the field for the Broncos defense. Can they do it? No, they can't. Matt Forte is too damn strong. But another 3rd and long. They've got a guy kinda. Mariota rolls out as something he can do very well as well. And he gets an 11-yard gain. So Mariota kind of proving he can do it all here. He just needs to get some points on the board, as the Colts haven't been playing bad. They just haven't finished their drives. And on 1st and 10, they've got plenty of room. But, of course, barely getting the sack is Bruce Irvin there diving for his 2nd sack of the game. And on 2nd and 19, a nice little short play. But the problem with it is it was an illegal play by the Broncos. So that is going to be an automatic 1st down with the face mask penalty. That is something you just cannot do, even if you're up by 2 touchdowns. Just like this, 2nd and 8 from the 10, they're only 1 touchdown away if they can finish this drive, and that's exactly what they do. And the Colts are only down by 7 now, so can the Broncos, with their young quarterback, Braxton Miller, who doesn't have the greatest experience, can they get down the field? But of course they're going to run it early with David Johnson. He's got room to the outside. Is anyone going to beat him? It's going to be a foot race to the end zone, to the 20, 15, 10, 5, and he's going to score. That is breakaway speed from the young man. No one's going to catch him when it's a foot race to the outside. And of course he proves he's the big playmaker on this offense. And on 1st and 10, Bruce Irvin sacks Mariota for a short sack. That is going to be his 3rd, though, of the game. So Bruce Irvin putting himself a nice little performance as well. And on 2nd and 13, that's going to be a huge gain. So Mariota unaffected by the pressure so far, as they are only down by 14, and they're driving down the field pretty nicely. But, of course, that's going to be yet another sack, this time from the rookie Leonard Floyd. He's been very quiet this season, but that's a great solid play for him. And on 3rd and 18, just an absolute terrible decision and throw, as they get nothing there, and they are forced to kick the punt. And, of course, here on 1st and 10, a blitz is coming, and you cannot leave Julio Jones one-on-one on the outside. I don't care who your cornerback is. And, of course, you can see it's not a great one from the Colts. Julio Jones dancing in the end zone, and he has the right, as he has scored his 2nd straight 3-touchdown game, which is 6 on the season so far. And of course, we do punt it after they punt it, and they're down to the 3. Can we kind of force this game to be completely over here? And Matt Forte just refuses to go down without a juke. So it's going to be at the 1-yard line, and this time Matt Forte is done. That is a safety. Who wants to get the credit for it? everyone, as we don't know who the heck got him down on that one. And on 3rd and 7, Braxton Miller's got to avoid stuff like this as he throws a late interception. So unnecessary. But of course, with a score of 51-21, this Broncos team is showing no matter who's under the helm, they're going to dominate. This defense is actually a lot better than most people thought. And we really need to keep that pass rush coming, as that's the thing that's holding this team up. But anyways, guys, out of the old announcer style play, let me know what you guys think of the franchise series so far. We had a very solid game here, and unless we get some injuries, I think we're going to continue to dominate. By the way, this isn't a one-man show. This is actually a two-man franchise. So check out Bengal in the description. He makes great content other than just franchise. But maybe check out what he's doing on his side. Maybe he's going to be the guy that takes the division and the Super Bowl. Who knows? But hopefully you guys, if you are new, maybe subscribe to either or channel. And hopefully join us for next video. But until next video, see ya! What is going on, guys? We are finally back with more fantasy franchise. Oh, look at the double spin!